Hello, Divine Souls. Welcome to another reading. So this week's reading, I started with looking into feelings. So how you're feeling about a particular person or situation right now. As always, I end the reading with what light beings are here helping you and what lessons you're being invited to step into. But first, let's get an understanding of where you're at with this current situation or person. So I had lots of cards come out here for you. I just do the reading before so I can see all the cards, and there's like a ton of cards and a ton of feelings and stuff that came out here. But I think whatever this person is in your life, like I feel like you've withdrawn from them. The withdrawn card has come up. I need time and space to myself and don't want to communicate. So I think you're feeling like you need to kind of pull away from this situation or person. The Tainted card came up. I don't know if I could love you the way I could have before or did before. I think it's really just saying like a lot's happened in that relationship with that person and you're not really feeling like you want to go back. Avoidant comes up, which kind of confirms that. I'm pushing you away because you make me feel vulnerable or uncomfortable with myself. And this also comes up with the card uncomfortable too. I'm not used to being in this position. And usually this card, the avoidant, I'm pushing you away because you make me feel vulnerable or uncomfortable with myself. This comes up usually when you have a situation with someone who is kind of being a spiritual teacher, a mirror, so to speak. And so you might have found yourself in a situation where someone said they needed something from you or didn't appreciate something that happened in your relationship, and this made you kind of feel uncomfortable. The unappreciated card came up as well, so this might have made you not feel appreciated as well. Just hearing this kind of feedback that maybe you didn't show up in the way that this person wanted you to. So this might have made you feel, actually the defensive card came up too, so this might have made you feel a bit defensive. I'm not feeling open to what it is I need to do or know I should do. And you might not feel that you should have changed at all, like maybe you feel like you were in the right. But usually these cards come up when there's feelings that maybe you're not even like aware of, or that you're being called to. So you might not be aware that you're feeling defensive about the situation, but I think right now, based on maybe what's happened, you're feeling like you don't really want to go back, you're withdrawn, you don't feel like they're in the right at all with what they said. Imperfect, you make me confront my truth, and I don't like that. So again, I really feel like someone in this situation with you brought something up that maybe you didn't really appreciate hearing about yourself, and this really made you like defensive or feel uncomfortable, and like you wanted to pull away and avoid that person moving forward and withdraw from the relationship. And yeah, I think some other stuff has happened here, so I feel like this made you kind of resentful, like resent the situation, resent the person, maybe for whatever they said about you and how they feel. Maybe you showed up in a situation, maybe the way they expressed themselves about that made you feel resentful towards them. And I think too, what's come up here is unheard. I feel like you don't really hear me in silence. So what I was saying with that is I think you don't feel like you're being heard right now. Like you don't feel like your views and perspectives and experiences are being heard on the other side, perhaps. Maybe there was even a reluctance for the other person to have a two-way communication with you or a two-way conversation with you. And this is all really made you like want to escape this relationship or this situation. You want to leave. You don't really want to go back because you don't feel it's the way it was before, that it's tainted, like that card said, drained. This relationship drains me and doesn't bring me joy recently. So because there's this focus now on growth and change, I feel like this has put you in a place where you don't feel like it really brings you joy anymore. and even kind of drains you because it's asking work from you to like some inner work. And so it's no longer easy in this sense. And maybe that kind of feels draining to you. And wreckage, I feel a wake of destruction remains after what we went through. So this is just kind of saying like you guys, you feel you went through a lot and that it's not the way it used to be and you're not really wanting to go back. And this card came up, so because of that, you're trying to move on, new chapter, disagreements. Again, I wish you understood how I feel. So I feel like you're really feeling like this person doesn't hear you or understand you or get your side of things, and you want them to see you, or it's just representing there's been a lot of disagreements between the two of you, or disagreement kind of like pulled you apart in the relationship and escape. So this is again just confirming that a confirmation that you left when things got hard, when someone was a mirror in your relationship and requested growth or had feedback maybe you weren't happy with, or when things all of a sudden turned serious instead of all just about fun, you kind of wanted to get away. With this escape card, I think it really just indicates like you kind of want to run away from the situation. You don't really want to be involved in it, especially when work comes up in the relationship, when something needs changing. This is kind of like the runner card to indicate that whenever something hard comes up in a relationship, maybe it's, or when someone gives you feedback about yourself in a relationship, your first instinct is to kind of run and want to escape the situation rather than like address it. Okay, so now we're gonna next look into how the other person is feeling. I always like to look at both sides, both how people are feeling, just to kind of get a better understanding of why these lessons might be coming up for you, why soul lessons later in the reading might be coming up for you. Just to have a fair kind of objective view of everything. But they are feeling like you in certain ways. The first card that has come up is withdrawn, so they're also feeling like they want to kind of move away from the relationship, I feel like, and don't want to really go back at this point, or they just want space to themselves. So I really feel like right now you guys are just both not talking to each other and have kind of gone your separate ways at this point and have withdrawn from the relationship. So you might not have spoken really for a while. And then the avoidant card also kind of followed that. So I don't want to get involved with this in you right now. They would kind of rather avoid the situation in you, and they feel like pulling away from it at this point. I feel like they're feeling very discouraged at this time, which might be why they've kind of withdrawn. I don't have hope or confidence that my efforts will work. So again, because maybe they've already spoken up about what they feel they need to change in the relationship and it hasn't changed, they're kind of just feeling discouraged about the whole situation and the whole relationship. And so instead of just trying to force change, they've now withdrawn. Immature. I don't feel you have the emotional intelligence for a healthy relationship, so they might be feeling like things weren't really handled maturely, like maybe because there hasn't been perhaps growth or change in the relationship in the way they hoped there would be. Abandoned. You weren't there for me when I needed you. So I think this is really where they're maybe were looking for some change in the relationship. I will speak about it later, but the protection soul lesson card came up for you. So I feel like there was a situation where they might have really needed you to have their back, but maybe you didn't, and maybe you're not really seeing that was really an issue. But whatever that was, they definitely feel like they were abandoned at some point by you in the relationship. You weren't there for me when I needed you. And actually, when this card came out, we'll talk about this lesson more later, but when this lesson came out, my ear started ringing really loud. My left ear, which to me always indicates listen. So yeah, this is really important for you, this soul lesson of protection in this situation and relationship. So again, they're feeling unheard, just like maybe you feel. They're feeling like what they've maybe requested to change in the relationship or what they've brought up wasn't working for them, has kind of landed maybe on deaf ears. Like they're not really feeling like their requests are being heard or met. And this feeling of being abandoned, I think really hurt them in this relationship, because this card here is scarred, which essentially means they've healed from what happened and what occurred in the relationship and the initial pain, but they don't forget it. Like they still remember that, at one point they felt abandoned by you, and because of this, it made them feel really unloved. Because of this abandonment, it made them feel like that you didn't love them, I guess, in the way that they may have thought you did, or wanted them to feel loved in a way that they wanted to feel loved by you. What happened between us didn't make me feel loved by you. So they maybe feel like actions or words maybe didn't come from your heart. So again, if you didn't stand up for them when they really needed you to have their back, they might feel like this didn't come from your heart. This choice to not kind of stand up for them and be there for them didn't come maybe from your heart, or maybe they feel like your heart isn't really in it because of that choice that you made. That maybe made them feel kind of like abandoned, and then following that, feeling unheard. And I think this all really led to them not trusting you anymore. There's a lot of distrust. I don't have a lot of trust for you after things in our past. So yeah, a lot of broken trust, I feel like, with this person towards you. Okay, so now we're going to go into the soul lessons. So this is what your angels are inviting you to step into, what soul lessons your angels are inviting you to step into in regards to this situation and with this person. These lessons are from my book, Lessons for the Soul. I brought it here so you could see. All of those lessons are in my book, and they're also in my 2 decks here. Lessons of the Light Outer Harmony and Lessons of the Light Inner Mastery. And if you're kind of hesitant to, like if you've kind of withdrawn yourself from this relationship because this person was a mirror in a sense, where they brought up something maybe they didn't appreciate, and that made you feel unappreciated, and that you didn't really kind of like that, and it made you want to withdraw. I feel like this next part of the reading might be hard for you to kind of listen to, but again, I'm just the messenger. I'm just here to bring what the angels are inviting you to step into, and it might be kind of difficult to hear, and you might not want to listen fully, because it is growth. It is growth, right? Like we're all here to grow. That's why these situations happen in our relationships. It's because we're all being invited to step into certain lessons. Every relationship comes with its own curriculum. We're all going through our own soul lesson curriculum in life. So when we kind of like are avoiding these lessons and not stepping into them, we're just like kind of pushing the lesson down the road. So take that how it resonates. I hope it helps you maybe be open to some of these lessons that have come up for you in this reading. And yeah, just take what resonates. But again, the first lesson here that came up that I already mentioned was protection, where my ear was ringing really hard. So I think there was really the situation where this person maybe didn't feel protected by you when I think they really felt like they needed you to kind of step up for them, or step in for them and really have their back. So this lesson invites you to stand up for others, shelter those in harm's way. So the next lesson here that came up for you is forgiveness. So this one, I think, kind of links back to that feeling that you were feeling resentful towards this person. So forgiveness asks you to release resentment and to return to peace within. So it's not necessarily saying like you go back to the situation or the person, not necessarily saying go back to the person in the relationship the way it used to be. Like it's just asking you to release that resentment, essentially, to return to peace within your own heart. And And sometimes it helps to bring that peace back into a relationship as well, if that's what you want. But again, like, it seems like both of you are kind of withdrawn from this relationship, so I'm not sure if there's like a mutual desire to have the relationship come back together, but that doesn't mean that we still can't forgive and release those hard feelings that we're holding on to towards another person. The next card here that's come up is reflection. So this is the next lesson here for you. Pause and look within, see room for growth. So again, I really feel like this relationship was meant to be a trigger for you to step into some of these soul lessons here, like protection, but maybe you weren't really open to it at that time. But your angels now are inviting you to kind of reflect on this relationship and this situation and see room for growth. So the next ones that came up here in terms of your lessons are mindfulness. So recognize others' needs and see with compassion. So this, I really feel like, connects with the protection soul lesson that came up for you. I think maybe when you chose not to step up for this, or step in for this person, or have this person's back in this relationship, you maybe didn't really see that they needed your help, or maybe you didn't recognize that they needed your protection and you needed your help to kind of prevent harm on them. And yeah, so they're just asking you to step into this mindfulness lesson, which asks you to be more aware of other people's needs, and to see with compassion. Maybe there was a situation you really didn't feel like someone needed protecting in, or they should be fine, on their own. But this lesson is really about being aware that, everyone's needs are different. Everyone's traumas are different. Everyone needs protection at different times, and maybe you don't fully recognize that or see it in the moment. But yeah, just asking you to be a bit more mindful of the fact that sometimes people need things and we might not necessarily even see it or agree with it, but if it's spoken, then, see that with compassion, essentially. Accountability is your last lesson here. So this asks you or invites you to take responsibility in your relationships for your actions. So again, I'm not sure, like, based on the fact that both people here really feel like withdrawn from the relationship, if you, want to go back and have a relationship with this person, but it doesn't mean, like, you can not go back to having a relationship with this person, but you could still reach out and be accountable and both decide still to kind of go separate ways, like, accountability doesn't mean you have to have the relationship go back, but and even if you don't feel necessarily like communicating with this person about the past or bringing it up and being accountable to them, it's important to be accountable to yourself at the minimum, right? And stepping into these lessons of reflection and forgiveness and protection, like, even if that relationship is gone, you both don't want it anymore, you can still step into these lessons through reflection so they don't come your way again, right? You can still step into all of these lessons to really, like, go into the lessons the universe and the light have been inviting you to step into, and probably your soul as well. And you can do that on your own. Like, it doesn't require you to go back to the relationship, but of course, like, accountability, going back to the relationship to take accountability where you feel it's due after reflection, is definitely, like, a hard thing to do, but it's also the most light thing to do, and it really can, like, expand your heart. And I think some of these divine and ascended masters that came up to help you are really kind of speaking to that. Just read more about these lessons. I usually go more into depth about the lessons and the guidance. I just read it from my books here, the guidance books that I have for my decks. So I'll start with, and I also want to say Jesus too is with you, working through these lessons with you, through forgiveness and releasing that resentment. So yeah, let's see. I guess we'll start there with forgiveness. Your angels invite you to embrace the healing power of forgiveness. This card appears when you are guided to release negative or heavy feelings towards someone or a situation. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harm. It means freeing your heart from bitterness, resentment, or anger, so your soul and heart can heal and be set free. By seeing things from another's perspective, or from another's experience, and coming to terms with how events unfolded, you allow peace, compassion, and understanding to replace pain. Letting go restores your energy, strengthens your relationships, and opens your heart to love and freedom. Forgiveness does not require returning or staying in an unhealthy relationship. You can forgive and still maintain healthy boundaries or a safe distance if the relationship feels unsafe. Thank you, Fauna. Fauna is saying hello and bringing love to this reading for you guys. Let's see, which one's next? Mindfulness. Mindfulness. Your angels invite you to be fully present and aware of both your own needs and the needs of those around you. This card appears when you are being guided to notice how your thoughts, words, and actions affect yourself and others. By moving through life with care, consideration, and awareness, you create greater harmony and emotional balance. Mindfulness allows you to honor your feelings while also respecting the feelings and needs of others, helping relationships grow in kindness, understanding, and mutual care. This lesson invites you to stay open and considerate as you move through life and make choices. Your angels gently encourage you to ask both yourself and others, how can I best help or support you? So the next one here is reflection. Your angels invite you to turn inward with honesty and compassion. This card appears when your angels invite you to reflect on situations with expansion and to observe your thoughts, feelings, and actions with loving self-awareness. Reflection helps you understand how you affect both yourself and others, allowing wisdom to arise from what you discover. By giving yourself time to pause and contemplate, you create space for insight, healing, and growth. When you reflect from the heart rather than from self-judgment, clarity and understanding naturally unfold. Noticing where you can grow or where you wish you had acted differently opens the door to accountability and healing. This awareness can support more harmonious relationships and more aligned choices moving forward. So next one here, protection. Your angels invite you to stand in love and courage for those who need safety and support. This card appears when you are being guided to protect the vulnerable, to speak up when someone is being mistreated, or to offer your strength to those who need it. Protection is an act of love. By standing beside others in times of fear, injustice, or harm, you become a shield of compassion and light. Your angels remind you that when you use your voice, presence, or power to defend what is good and right, you help create a safer, kind world for all. This lesson may mean providing safe inclusion or speaking up and standing with someone who is being mistreated. It may also come to you in a quick moment where you are provided the chance to intervene to stop harm from occurring. I also just came to mind too, as I was reading this, that when the card scarred came up for the other person in this situation, my whole arm felt like so much pain. So I do feel like whatever happened here, like it really, really like hurt them and really, really like affected them on quite a deep level. So yeah, that again, and this one came up with ringing in my ear. So they really, I think, want to bring your attention to this protection lesson in that situation specifically. And then this last lesson here I'll read to you is accountability. Accountability. Your angels invite you to stand in truth, humility, and integrity. This card appears when you are being guided to take ownership of your actions, words, and choices, especially where someone may have been hurt. Meaningful accountability is an act of courage and love and shows commitment to correct previous harmful behavior. By acknowledging your part, offering a sincere apology, and showing genuine remorse, you open the door to healing, repair, and deeper trust. Releasing pride, shame, or avoidance allows for repair and safety. This lesson also reminds you not to withdraw, ghost, or hide from difficult conversations. Instead, you are asked to meet others with openness and responsibility. When you commit to growth and make meaningful efforts to repair harm, you align with integrity, healing, and the light of your soul. So you had 3 divine masters that came up for you: Lady Portia, Dwal Kal, and Kuan Yin. So Kuan Yin is enlightened action. Choose compassion, move forward with grace. Dwal Kal is also enlightened action. Make choices from the heart. So again, it's like expanding your heart. When we take accountability, we really expand our heart, and our soul like grows like instantly when we're able to go back to a relationship and say like, hey, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done or acted the way I did. Maybe I shouldn't have made that choice. Maybe I should have been there for you in a different way. I'm really sorry, like if that hurt you in any way. Maybe it wasn't my intention. Maybe I didn't fully see you in that moment of need for you, but I want you to know like I care about you, and I'm sorry if you didn't feel like I was there for you in the way that you needed me to be. That accountability, like that levels you up, like that really helps your soul evolve and grow in the way it wants to here as it's experiencing these relationships on earth. So yeah, and Lady Portia really speaks to this too, right? Like karmic release, let go of the need to be right. So karmic release, and the way I describe karma in my book, Lessons for the Soul, and my other writings is really lessons, right? Like our karma are our soul lessons. So by taking accountability, by stepping into these other lessons like protection, forgiveness, reflection, mindfulness, like this is you releasing that karma. This is your soul saying, I've got these lessons learned. I can release this part of my curriculum in this soul lifetime now. And in that way it releases like your karma, your lessons. So yeah, and when you let go of the need to be right, you open yourself up to these lessons: reflection, accountability, protection, mindfulness, all these lessons, forgiveness. You open yourself up to all those lessons when we let go of the need to always be right. We just open ourselves up immediately to be able to grow, which is really important for our soul's journey here. Kuan Yin, enlightened action, choose compassion, move forward with grace, which kind of reflects the other messages from the Divine Masters there. And there you go, Divine Soul. That is your reading for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you listened to it. And yeah, I hope you don't hate me for being the mirror in this reading for you. These people that come into our life who offer these moments of reflection and being the mirror and being the spiritual teacher are like meant to come into our life, because a big reason why we're here is to grow. So yeah, it's really hard, in relationships when we are faced with these moments, and sometimes it can be hard to really accept or feel like we need to grow, but when we do grow, it just expands the heart so much, and it just feels so great. So yeah, I really hope you don't close yourself off to the possibility of growth for your own soul and for your own heart. And of course, this can help relationships heal as well. So yeah, I hope this helps. I will just show you the decks that I used today. So the soul lessons come from my book, Lessons of the Light Inner Master. My deck and book, I guess, Lessons for the Soul. But they're also in my decks here. Lessons of the Light Inner Mastery, Lessons of the Light Outer Harmony, and then the Divine Masters that I shared with you guys comes from the Divine Masters Oracle by Kyle Gray. And then I also used some cards from the Messages of Love Oracle deck. And then all the feeling cards are my own creation. So yeah, there you go, Divine Soul. I hope this helps. And one last thought that came to mind before closing off with you is that we all have lessons. Even this person in this situation with you is going through their own soul lessons. So yeah, don't feel like these lessons are only coming up for you. In every relationship situation we go through where there's conflict or disagreement, there's always lessons that the universe is inviting us to have on both sides. So, yeah, I hope this helps. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend.